Now, tell me about how you feel about this year, this season.
I feel pretty good. I'm so excited because last year was my best year in baseball, you know. I won the pitcher of the year for the team. I feel good. Yeah.
And anything that you can tell us about how you feel going into this year? You told me about last year. How do you feel about going into this year?
I feel good because I am in the 40-man roster now, and then I think I can pitch in the big league this year. You know, yeah.
How does the team look to you as a whole? How does the team look as a whole?
¿Qué dijo ahí que no fui?
¿Cómo se ve el equipo?
Oh, looking good because the younger players, a lot of players, between the 20 and 25 years, then we can be in the future a good team.
What do you think about your new manager?
Oh, I think it's good person because I never see him. It's the first time I see him. I never talk to him anything, but I think he's a good person.
Does he seem like a good guy?
Yeah.
Somebody you want to play for?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Gregory, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Gracias. We have Eduardo. So I want you to tell me your name and what position you play.
My name is Eduardo Jimenez. I am right-handed pitcher. I'm from Venezuela. I'm too excited to stay here compared to fans, social media, see the new place for me. It's really good to stay in Detroit. I don't have anything to say, but I'm too excited.
What do you think about this team?
This team have a good history in the past, so I think we can do it again past, like championship, something like that.
You say you're new, Eduardo. You're new to the team. This your first year?
Yeah, it's my first year in the 40-man roster.
Where were you before here? Before Detroit? Where were you before you came here?
¿Dónde estaba antes de Detroit?
Lakeland?
You were at Lakeland.
Yeah.
All right, so you played in the minor?
Yeah, in the final.
Okay. So they moved you up.
Yeah,
How does that feel?
excited, man. Too excited.
Are you ready?
Yeah, all time.
All right. Well, I'll be looking at you.
Thank you.
Okay, and thank you. Name and position.
John Hicks,
How long have you been with the Tigers, John?
about a year and a half or so.
What do you think about the team now?
I'm excited, guys. Positions and group. We'll a lot of fun together. Getting to see everybody in the locker room today, and it's exciting to have all of us back together.
Now you have a new manager. What do you think about that guy?
We've spoken briefly. We haven't talked a lot, but he knows the game. He's been around a long time, and I'm excited to get to work with him.
So you got a good feel for him, or what?
Yeah, I think he's going to do a great job. He's been around the game. He did a great job when he was with Minnesota, and I'm excited.
All right, tell me, what do you think about this coming season? What type of hopes and aspirations do you have for the team?
It's hard to say. We're excited to get to spring training, but we think we can go out and compete every day, and try to win a bunch of games and see what we can do.
All right. Thank you much.
Thank you.
All righty. And Mike Gerber. How are you, Mike?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Tell me your name and your position.
Mike Gerber, outfielder.
Okay. How long have you been with the Tigers, man?
I was drafted in 14, so I've been with the organization for a few years now, so this will be my first year on the roster.
Okay. Now, you have a new manager this year. What do you think?
I think it'll be exciting. You know, I've spoke with him briefly, met him this morning, so I'm excited to hopefully work with him. I know I'll work with him in spring training and get to know him a little bit more.
And what do you think about yourself and what your contributions will be this year?
I mean, we'll see. You know, my goal is to, compete in spring training and hopefully win a job. I think that's everyone's goal this year. So, going to go out, work hard, and we'll see what happens.
Very good.
Awesome.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
All right. Yep. You got everybody? Okay.
Phil. Steve.
Okay.
Joe, give me your title and what's it? Joe Bobra.
Okay. Now,
There's a couple of coaches I can't, no quality.
everybody go ahead.
Well, that's why we're here. We're getting to meet everybody. Some of us are new to the Tigers. I'm new to the Tigers, so this type of venue allows me to get to know guys and let them get to know me a little bit. So.
How do they look?
Season go to spring training, so I think that's a good sign itself right there.
Speaking of quality control, what type of quality team do you
You know, I got to see him. I was with Minnesota, so I got to see him from the visitors dugout. There's quality here. There's not a lot of control yet. That's what we're gonna try to get. But there's a bunch of good athletes. And athletes are going to play themselves into pretty good players over time. You got to be patient. Obviously, you're looking at a group of individuals here, good players, they've got good talents, but patience is the key, and the people have to remember that it takes probably a number of X amount of bats, a number of years to be a quality major league player. It just doesn't happen.
Now, as coaches, do you think you have a contender team this year? Let me know.
We're tied for first place right now. That's the thing. I mean, you go out and you play the game, you see what happens. And so we're just because we're young doesn't mean you have to lose. So, winning's contagious, losing's contagious. We want to breed winners, and there's reasons why you win, there's reasons why you lose. So, you figure that out, it'll be pretty good.
Any parting comments?
2 years ago, we lost 103 ball games in Minnesota. Last year, we were, a wild card winner. So I'll tell you what, it can happen. They're not that far away. Just sitting across the dugout from them, they're not that far away. They got to believe in themselves.
Final comment.
I like what Joe said earlier about being patient with having talent. I think that in itself, some guys are gonna outdo their talents. They're gonna do well. So let's see how it goes.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. All right, now I want all three of you to get together.
All the way, got out and whatever, 20-something years later. So, but we grew up on an Army base, Fort Ord, California. That's my first memories. I was born in Germany. My father delivered me on the couch.
Really?
Absolutely. And my older brother was born in Germany, and he delivered him in the back seat of the car. In an ice storm to the hospital, they went off in a ditch, and he delivered him in the back seat. So my dad was a pretty special man. He had a good set of hands on
I was
him.
going to say an obstetrician as well as a military guy.
He ended up a first sergeant, and doggone, I think he slapped my older brother a little harder than he slapped me.
So you would say he was a good catcher?
I'd say he taught me how to have good soft hands.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Go right ahead, please.
Okay. We're here with Ron Gardenhire. That's it, Gardenhire?
Yep, sounds
All right.
good.
And tell us a little bit about yourself, first of all, and where you're coming from into the Detroit club.
Just baseball my whole life. Played college baseball, which something was really important. To a junior college for a couple of years, and then drafted by the Mets in the 6th round in '79, and through their system got to the big leagues pretty quick. Went from being a starting shortstop to a utility player.
Tell us about that last one. Utility.
It's called that slider. You ever heard?
Okay, and that was it.
Hit it and
Now tell me, you've had a pretty good relationship with Jim Leyland.
he's, you know what, Jimmy and I, when we'd come down, we'd always go out behind home plate and have our conversation. He'd fire a few jokes at us, and we'd talk. Respected him, loved the way he managed. Always tried to sit there and watch him and stare at him in the dugout and see what he was thinking. You know, that's how us young managers learn, by watching the veteran guys, and that's why I always go out and have those conversations with him. They were great conversations. We talked a little bit about he told one opportunity you should try, because he said you're a perfect fit. He said you're a come from a here, and you'd love this city and organization. So finally the dream has come true that I get this opportunity.
Now, is it playing out? I mean, do you like this town? Do you like the organization?
I like this town. Always like coming here, bringing cool runs used that I'd only seen on TV, and to now the new bring seeing this big field where the ball flies much.
Now, you got a lot of young guys this year. You got a young team. What are the prospects? What do you think about what's going to happen this year?
Excitement. That's what it should be. This is, time. Everybody projected lineups. The projected different than mine. I think that's the exciting part, is I get to see what they do, watch them take BP. I'll talk to them. When we run the first lineup out, can't wait to see everybody.
So when you look at these young players on paper, what goes through your mind? What do you think?
I'm excited about them. We have a lot of young talent in here. You know what? A lot of them got a little bit of a taste of the big leagues last year through some tough circumstances. They've learned from it, I hope. We've got some good pitching coaches in here. Basio is a fantastic pitching coach and going to be a great handler of these guys. My old pitching coach, Rick, with them to calm them down. And you know what? It's all about pitching and catching the ball. You got to catch the ball. So we've got good catching here. Now we just got to get these guys to throw it over and teach these guys to catch the ball when they do throw it over. And you know what? That's the basics. And then you get a few hits here and there.
Ron Gardenhire, thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Best of luck to you and
Thank
the
you.
team.
I
We're
appreciate
rooting
it.
for you.
Appreciate it.
We're
Thank you.
rooting for you.
Ron, when did you say you're going down to Lakeland?
All right, there you go.
Michael Fulmer's an ultimate professional. He's a great guy, and he's a team player, and he knows the situation. It's kind of common sense. And I just explained that 2 minutes ago. It's all right. But, basically, again, it's common sense. You have teams out there that are trying to win. But you also have those same teams that are trying to stay under the luxury tax. So it behooves those teams to see if they can come up with a good enough trade where they can acquire a guy, let's say like Michael Fulmer, that right now is basically making minimum wage, and he's under cost control and under control for basically the next 3 years after that. So that keeps him under the luxury tax. So it's common sense that the teams would call to check up on that player's availability. No different than, let's say, the last 3 years, the teams have been calling Tampa Bay never raise an Archer. So now that doesn't mean you're going to trade him. Tampa hasn't traded Archer. So it's hard to make those trades because obviously, if you're going to do that, you're going to look for a return that, quite frankly, the team may think it's too rich. So those teams have to decide whether, okay, do I want to go out and pay the free agent market price, or do I pay the price of prospects? and that's where it comes down to. So really, it's common sense that you're going to feel those calls.
Al, you already said that obviously that you guys are rebuilding, made it public, but what's your message? Do you have a message to the fan base of like when they're deciding, to come to the ballpark in the summer or not?
Well, the best thing I can tell the fans is this. It's still exciting to come to the baseball games because we're going to have young players that are athletic. They have talent. They're still developing. Guys like Mikey Montauk is an exciting player to watch. You got to see what's going to happen to Machado playing on a more regular basis. We get a Rule 5 kid in Reyes. Let's see how he can do. He's a really interesting prospect. You got Castellanos in right field, who's proven himself a really good major league hitter. Let's see if he can play right field. And you have stories like this. Pitching staff, the rotation of Boyd and Norris and Fulmer and is Zimmerman going to be okay? They have the potential to be a really good rotation if they fulfill their talent. And quite frankly, most of the guys on this team, they have talent and it's still developing. So that in itself is exciting to come to the ballpark to see these guys play and see what they can do and how they compete day in and day out under the guidance of a new manager and staff. And then at the same time, to keep an eye on the minor leagues because we have some really good, young, exciting talent that we just added to the organization that if you start following those guys on the way up, you can visualize the future a little bit better, So that combination of coming to the games and seeing what's here, how it develops, and the young guys coming up, you can kind of put two and two together and kind of see the future coming about. And I think, to me, at least in the baseball operations, it's a very exciting time.
Do you feel like okay? You got the light? You got enough light? All right. Okay, I know it's January. It's cold outside, but we did get a chance to catch up with the Detroit Tiger team to find out exactly what they feel about this coming season. Just ahead of their annual caravan ride, where they stormed the entire state, shaking hands with the fans from the lower peninsula to the upper peninsula and all the way back to Comerica Park. We had one-on-ones with many of the players, a lot of them young players who are here for the first time. Here's what they had to say. We talked to the coaching staff, including new manager Ron Gardenhire, and here's where their comments. So here we go, folks. Another year for the Detroit Tigers. We've got our fingers crossed as an.
Yeah, I think good, Brad. Soda in there, plus?